And alright, time for homework 7. That's the name of this one. Realize it looks way different than all the ones from this week. That's okay. We're just going to take it one by one, and really there are only two questions. The problem is you got 3 different things to do over the course of those 3 different questions. So let's break it down to number 1. You got equation, table, graph. 3 different things to do. They all represent the same equation. Okay, so this one on number 1, you start with an equation, so from that you can fill in the graph. Fill in the table and the graph actually. So when you're filling in the table, you take an x value and you plug it in to your equation, and whatever the result is, that goes here in the y column. So y equals -4. Replace x with -3, add 5. Well, when you do that, you get -4 times -3, that's +12, and then you add 5, that's going to give you 17. So y over here is going to be 17. Whatever your result is goes in the table. Okay, and then you take the next x value, and again, you put it in the equation where x is. So you're going to get y equals -4 times -1 plus 5. Well, -4 times -1 is 4. Add 5, that's 9. And 9 is going to go in our table right there. So put a 9 there. It's beautiful. And remember, so you're just taking each of these values, put it in for x. So here are our values. We got y equals -4 times 0. That's 0, by the way. Add 5. So if you do -4 times 0, which is 0, add 5, you get 5. And that's going to go in our table here. And we only got one more number to plug in. Take that, plug it into your equation, kind of like your formula. -4 times 4 plus 5. You'll get, -4 times 4 is -16. And then you have to add 5 to that. You'll get -11. Because -16 plus 5 is -11. That's going to be your last entry in the table. So you got 17, 9, 5, -11. And finally, we can move into our graph. So on the graph, you're going to basically just take your equation and then graph it. You can use the points from the table, but I don't recommend it because you should be getting fairly comfortable with graphing lines. Your y-intercept's +5, so put a point there. And then you have a slope of -4. Down 4, right 1. You get another point. Or you can go down 4 again and right 1 again. Okay? Now we know where the line's going to go. You just draw your line like that. Bam. Put an arrow on the end. And the graph part is done. Let's move on to number 2. So this one's a little bit different. Notice that we don't start with an equation. We start with just the table. So from this table, we need to make some observations and then use that to write an equation. Now your equation is going to be like y equals something times x plus or minus some other number, right? So we need to figure out what these two numbers are, right here and right here. Well, something that's going to be fairly helpful to you is that when you plug in 0 for x, it won't matter what's in front here. You'll just need to... Alright, if you plug in 0 for x, this won't matter. That's going to be 0. And then you're left with just y equals this number. Okay? Well, let's do that right now. If you look at the table, when you plug in 0 into your equation, you get out y equals 7. Well, if this part isn't in the equation right now, because we put in 0 for x, we must know that this part here on the right side is 7. Okay? And like I said, if you plug it in, here, let's put the space and then 0, plus another space. This all has to equal 7. Well, this first part doesn't matter. Anything times 0 is 0. And so the blank, the second blank, the plus blank, has got to be 7. So, we're going to put 7 here. We got to add that. And then the next part we need to figure out is what's the number in front of x. So let's look at our inequality, not inequality, our equation set up again. We know this is 7. We need to figure out the number that goes in front of the x. To do that, just plug in another one of the points, like this one. If you plug in a 1 for x, you'll get 12. So if y is 12, and then we got something times 1, because x is 1 in this case, and you add 7. Well, to figure out what this question mark is, you got to do a little bit of solving. You got to subtract 7 on both sides. You'll get 5 equals question mark times 1. Well, question mark times 1 is just question mark. So that number in front of x has to be 5. So we're going to put 5x plus 7. And ta-da, we finally have our equation. And now that we have our equation, let's jump over to the graph part. You guys start up at positive 7, so go up there, put a point down, and it has a slope of 5. So here I would go up 5, right 1, but I can't go farther because my graph's too small. So you got to go down 5 as you go left 1, and get another point, and then down 5 again as you go left 1. Okay, now we know where the line's going to go. Draw your line. It's very steep. It's practically vertical. But you get that, and it looks like that. Done!